Well, we'll see how it all starts off. Mentally, it's where it's not a best of two, it is a double header. It kind of is important for both teams to have a solid performance. Yes, it's Cobblestone, you can write it off quickly for one team that can simply just brush it aside saying they don't play it that much, but if they get too far out of this could affect them into the game in game 2 as well, so. We've seen a lot of teams play back-to-back this season, but I think this is the first night we've actually seen double headers between two teams.
Yeah, it is. Definitely. Already, XP3's lining up for a smoke from CT spawn. That's going to go over towards B, so he's throwing this from very far away. So, looks like Elevate's put some work in on this map. And an aggressive push by Roka. He's going to spot everything out. He's even going to grab an initial headshot on a Freakazoid. Huge play from Roka. Nicely done by him.
I'll try to get through at A as Shroud tries to pull the rotators over. Desi's coming back pretty early, though, so Storm's going to wait at the chicken coop. This puts a lot of pressure on Roka and XP3. Roka's down to 8 HP on that first exchange, and XP3 is actually playing this inside the site, not in the doorway to the hut. He's going to be able to support a lot quicker at the backside that way, but it doesn't give him the angle to spot them quite as easily, and in fact, he may have been able to spot them going back through the doorway out mid and into the B tunnels if he was pushed up in a little more aggressive position.
Yeah, and Cloud9 just kind of, put some pressure on A. They forced Roka back. He's got such low HP, but they're reconvening over towards the B bomb site, over towards the drop, and Elevate's playing that drop defense pretty passively. Rush just playing outside of it, waiting to see, letting them fall down, not peeking at all before that, so a lot of pressure is going to be put onto Storm, who's playing in the chicken coop.
We'll see if this works out for them. 2 players holding on drop, but there's 2 players above it as well. Cloud9 want to go. Shroud first one down. That smoke pushes back. Rush, he thought it was a flash, and it doesn't actually come to fruition for him at all, but he does trade out with Desi before nothing gets back into him, and nothing rotating around. Catches XP3 coming through, and Skadoodle, he'll find Storm. That was where the pressure was at the chicken coop. Now bomb goes down for Skadoodle and Cloud9. It's all left to Roka, and he drops just as quick as that.
Yeah, they get out of that drop and nothing just gets aggressive on the door, making sure the rotates can't come in to support Storm whatsoever, and he picks up 3 kills, so a hot start in this match for him, and a beautiful play to cut off any kind of support that was going to come over towards that B bomb site. Well executed by Cloud9 in a 4-on-5.
So it does give them the start T side that they need. They'll go out for Galils. They only get 1 SMG up for Shroud. So they want to look for entry kills. They want to look for execution, not speed. It is going to be B, though. There's 3 players over. Long push from Roka at A. This gives them a bit more information. Storm does find Shroud first, but it's already responded as Freakazoid comes around, catches him in the alleyway. That nade going out toward XP3. Reasonable damage. The Molotov to follow up as nothing's going to collect them. Roka, though, early flank caught. Skadoodle puts him down. That scout amounts to nothing, and it's Rush on 4 HP. He'll do no more either. And Cloud9, pretty convincing that time. Shroud did drop the SMG, didn't pick up a kill with it, so it doesn't actually amount to anything, but crucially, they still have all the rifles.
Yeah, the big thing there was those 2 scouts the 2 scouts that Elevate bought. They didn't do any damage whatsoever, so there's a big investment that had nothing go their way, not able to land any of the shots or get the tags for the pistols to help out, so you said it wasn't going to be fast, but they actually used that SMG on Shroud just to get out as quick as possible. He fell, but from there it was just nicely executed. They were very patient on the platform. They just maintained this long distance, and they threw some nades behind the statue, and were able to take out XP3, who was trying to anchor that down.
XP3 coming back through a little bit earlier this time. In fact, they're going to stack up this A site, which is a bit surprising because we haven't actually seen much of an A take. In fact, the first round, they lost the early exchange on the pistol round. They fell back to B, so Elevate's going to gamble on this. But right now, Cloud9, all they need to do is send 1 player into the B site. Whether it's going to be Freak on the entry or Shroud, looks like it's going to be Shroud. They're going to realize they've got this to work with. So easy bomb plant coming in, and with no investment at all, they can still go for a retake here. They can still try and do some damage to Cloud9 post-plant, but the smokes are coming out, the flashes as well, and it looks like they're actually going to fall completely off this, so not wanting to give up frag money. Now, the interesting thing is there's only 1 SMG, so it wouldn't actually hurt them as much to give up frag money to the rifles as potentially otherwise, but either way, although they do rotate around to try and catch exits, nothing's in position.
Yeah, and he's actually going to get circled. XP3 is going to take him off, but he's got some intel of where they're at, so he was all alone. He was being a little bit aggressive, trying to find a route for Cloud9 to escape the bomb explosion safely. And Roka's just going to save that because they did invest a lot into that second round, so they're going to be a little bit hurt for money in this first gun round. In that Galil being saved, it's not the strongest weapon, but it's going to allow them to have a kit, allow them to have some extra smokes or utility. And that could actually be huge. He's even going to get 1 more here. Shroud looking the wrong way. It's only an SMG, though, not a huge loss. But Cloud9 quickly up 3-0.
We see rifles come out now for Elevate. And this is where we're going to see their default really come into play. And look how broke they are, even just to get these out. They do get the one Galil up, but it's FAMAS for Rush, and we're on round 3, where they didn't really bring a whole lot into it. Roka's saved up quite a bit, though, based on picking up that Galil.
Yeah, he doesn't have a kit, which kind of confused me. He's got 3,400, not a kit, so we'll have to see if that's going to have an impact. But he is playing in danger while 3 members of Cloud9 storm over to these A halls. XP3 is going to come over to give him some backup.
Yeah, and XP3 has to, or he's completely in trouble, and he still might be, because Jean Gears finds that early kill. Roka needs to be aware they're going to lurk down in here and find him, spots up the bomb on Freakazoid, manages to get the double. Jean Gears, though, he wants no more of it as he comes in, and nothing from the backside actually gets the shot into him. But meanwhile on B, Storm getting up above the box, catching off Shroud, so Elevate have found a bit of space here to work with. The problem is they're quite spread out, so Storm needs to be aware that this could still be an A push. The bomb was down in that position, so they had the information that they were committed to it. Problem is they haven't read them since. Desi's fallen back a long way, and that puts all the pressure right now onto Rush. As he waits inside the site. No one spotting the cross. Desi smoked off. He can't find it, so Rush just has to be patient. He can't even peek out, but he does so at exactly the right time. Finds nothing, and now Skadoodle, 1-on-3, has his op up, goes for the pistol instead. Right decision, finds Rush directly in the head, and as the bomb goes down, the retake attempt comes in from Elevate. They just need to make sure they don't get too careless with their peeking, that they make this a 2-on-1, not a double 1-on-1, and Desi finds it before it even matters. Storm's going to get the defuse, and there we go. First gun, Elevate already responding.
Yeah, nicely done. It was a little bit scary, actually. I was surprised XP3, when he came over to swing over towards A halls, he had Roka in danger, and they didn't coordinate that whatsoever. XP3 just kind of collapsed, and Roka, I mean, he pulls out a hero play and gets 2 kills in that situation, so nicely done from him. But that is a free AWP on XP3's hand, so they salvaged that off Skadoodle. That's not money they have to invest, but with that plant, Skadoodle picks up another one of his own, and it's going to be a full buyout of Cloud9.
Yeah, it's a desperate full buy, because remember, we had Shroud upgrade twice, we had Skadoodle go straight to that op. So they actually were pretty narrowed on what they could do for the upgrade, which doesn't give them a whole lot of grenades, utilities. Sean Gears has none, Skadoodle has none. Actually, I take that back, Skadoodle has 1 smoke.
Yeah, and look at how aggressively Shroud's playing in this platform. He's through this smoke very, very early. XP3 misses the op shot. That gives him a little bit of an opportunity to try to spam through, but Storm actually finds him underneath the smoke. Nicely done by him. Shroud's been doing that all these 4 rounds so far.
Well, it's good to have the confidence. Good early presence at B, by the way, as well from Elevate. Desi came over really early to support Rush. That allowed Rush to fall out of drop and add a little bit of extra support to where Storm was playing it long. So just bringing that 1 extra player over added that much strength. It just gave that much more of a dynamic to it. But this smoke's going to disappear at exactly the wrong time as XP3, waiting for Skadoodle, finds him easily as he thought there would be a flank a lot sooner. Nothing responds with only 1. But Freakazoid and Sean Gears had already dropped before that. So nothing. He'll fall as well. Desi, this is looking good. 2 rounds now. Both gun rounds crucially going to Elevate on the CT side.
Yeah, looking very, very nice there. Storm and XP3 anchoring down that A platform, or that B platform, excuse me, very, very well. And that's going to force the save out of Cloud9. No entry kills go their way. No progress is made. And it's kind of what we see out of a lot of teams. They just kind of waited for those smokes over at B to dissipate. Let Shroud try and do his thing on the other side of it. But from there, it was just kind of see what entries you can get once that disappears. So not too much pressure put across the map.
More passive this time from Cloud9 where they are on the pistols. So that nade that went out early from XP3 this time wouldn't do damage. We talked about, you mentioned it actually, that Shroud was pushing up. Normally that might catch him, but not in this round. And look at him just firing away through the smoke. Hoping somebody get caught off by that, but not going to be the case. And XP3 re-smoking it up buys them even more time. Skadoodle's going to drop down. He'll be heard. Good patience from Storm to make sure he lines up the headshot. No one following in to go for a trade, so that's a free kill, and Shroud's now the only one left. And just as quickly, Rush finds him almost flawless. Desi does drop down, but this will help the economy build even more. Roka's on 87, 45 now for XP3. Roka didn't have that kit that first round, and of course that's not a huge investment, but just a little saving. He's building up quite quickly.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about, managing the economy of Cloud9, keeping him an AWP out of Skadoodle's hands. This round he can't buy one whatsoever. And actually, Roka's being very aggressive in these A-halls. He's pushed up a couple times, and now XP3 is going to do it. So Elevate really choosing to put some defensive pressure, you know, either in this middle connector or in the far left A-halls. And that's a situation where if Skadoodle has that AWP, Sean might just call him out to guard that angle. He
drop down does do a little damage to Rush as it lands just to his right side. think a little bit of the damage got eaten up by that pillar that's in there, but regardless, he sits with 79 remaining. No reflash for Storm. Unfortunately, that second flash also catches XP3. Doubling up, though. Look, again, they pull that early player off A. Rush is able to sit directly below drop. Desi will distract and hold their fire in position. Desi needs to make sure they drop down, though, because if they don't drop and they take him, that's exactly the problem. He goes too soon. Now Rush is all by himself. They may still overlook it, but he needs to hit this shot. Does hit the first. Sean Gears gets below, and unfortunately, he's still aimed above. So Sean does get the trade. That advantage is now fully in Cloud9's favor. Shroud gets caught this time. Skadoodle going to follow in his footsteps. Good crossfire setup. And again, that's from having Rush there early. So even though they lost drop with his presence, they still were able to support better at long. Problem is, Sean Gears is able to divide now as he comes out the windowsill. And if they could get... Oh, that's the problem. The bomb's down. If they could have had the bomb, they could rotate back to A quite quickly. That's not going to be possible.
Yeah, 20 seconds left now, and they're going to boost nothing up, and he's got to come around. They've got to speed things up. XP3 dropping the AWP for an AK-47. A nice flash comes over, but nothing's going to have to run through this smoke. Just spamming it at the moment. Storm also wheeling it in. He does find XP3. That's a huge kill. 9 seconds left. Storm's got to live, but he doesn't turn in time. Nothing takes him out. So a nice win there for Cloud9. Elevate not able to last the entire time. And that's brutal. That's heartbreaking. That was a round that should have gone Elevate's way.
Yeah, they had everything won. They had the bomb down. Well played from nothing to get the last kill. And again,
well played from
I
nothing
do like...
to get the first kill through the smoke. Just sprays him down.
I think I'm liking this double-up support, this early rotation from Elevate. But again, Desi can't get traded there either, because then Rush was in a really hard spot. If they won drop, that round was even easier, because then Sean never gets out and divides them. Well,
I mean, yeah, you said it. Desi overcommitted to that fight a little bit too much. He didn't play the bait and switch more. I mean, he didn't play it baity enough, so he falls, and that puts Rush in a very, very tough spot.
So XP3 awaits patiently to see if Cloud9 want to get a little bit more aggressive from danger, but they're actually going to wrap back around. Roka, wisely so, falls out of mid back to the CT side of it. So more of a passive setup. No one to get caught off guard this time by Elevate. Early damage favors them as well as Skadoodle on 75. Shroud down to 48. Freak? This is not a pug. This is an actual game, and he just put his teammate down to 14.
Yeah, I was wondering where that came from. That was Freakazoid TKing him, so a little bit of a goof there. And that's actually a huge goof with Skadoodle with that AWP down at such low HP. Any stray bullet or random nade that comes in is going to be trouble for him.
Yeah, that's a bit of a blunder. I don't even know if he thought he was that close to him or whether he's just so used to being in the pugs. He preemptively knifes him, and as a result, Sean's now going to get caught by Roka. This leaves them in an even harder position. Shroud has found his way over top of Storm, who doesn't see him come through the smoke, but Desi's in an excellent spot to slide out from the hut. The chicken coop, rather, and take him down. Rush finds Freakazoid, makes him pay for the mistakes that he's made, but nothing now finds XP3. Does bring it back to a 2-on-3, doesn't matter. He's already caught off, and now it's that very low Freakazoid. Rather, Skadoodle because of Freakazoid, who's going to have to fall back and save this off.
Yeah, with the timer running down too as well, so he is going to save that. No money for him coming up into the next round. And that resets the economy of Cloud9, so nicely handled there by Elevate. And they're playing a very mobile defense. As soon as Cloud9 puts pressure on Connector, they have a third player rotate over towards A. Pretty much every round they've had someone play close up, either on the Connector or in danger, who's at least gathering info, who's throwing pop flashes, who's slowing things down. And then they're very quick to rotate back to B when they feel like the pressure has abated. So Elevate playing a very, very mobile defense at the moment, looking good at 4-4.
Shroud this time with the pistol. Oh, that nade comes directly in on him. He does aim in the correct position for the jump, but no one comes up correctly or quickly enough for him to catch them off. It's Roka. Nice shot by Skadoodle. That's your only gun in play, the only rifle in play. Catches Roka with very little to fire at as he falls back. Rush makes up for it, though. Skadoodle does go down, and that... Oh, is it going to be regrabbed? It does. It is successfully grabbed. Freakazoid, who manages to recover that M4 over at the top of danger, gets caught out just as quickly, and now it's Sean's turn. Back to the way he used to be. Remember the days when he was the main opper for Cloud9? Seems like long ago now.
Long, long ago, in a time far away. Here's this op battle. Oh, and XP3 pulls away just at the wrong moment, just when Sean's going to swing into his crosshair, so now they've got to play a little bit more passive. And that's what I was talking about. Skadoodle actually posts up at that angle up danger when he's in middle connector, and they find Roka. I mean, Elevate's playing very, very aggressively over towards A early on in these rounds, and that's something that Cloud9 can try and manipulate and take advantage of, is finding those picks there.
Good shot by Sean, XP3 caught. So now they've pulled this back, believe it or not, because nothing has recovered the M4, so it's even health situation, no armor. That's the big difference. And Sean Gares taking a ton of damage from that Molotov that went on top of the site. Still manages to get the bomb down and stay alive, but now he's going to have to do it 1-on-2 with only the 28 HP in the op to work with. Desi coming up from middle, flashes over. Sean not peeking, or at least trying not to peek until he has to. Storm's already spotted him once, knows he's still inside the site, and they're going to come from either direction, but Sean, excellent shot on Desi. He can't do more on Storm. And as the fire dissolves, they'll walk in and get this defuse, and Elevate will take back the lead 5-4, but good performance from Cloud9 on that eco.
Yeah, magnificent eco round, 4 kills, bomb planted as well. That was absolutely huge coming into it with only 1 AWP. Not really any kind of an investment in terms of utility either, just a bunch of pistols. So they pull off almost a miracle there. They do get shut down, but this has decimated the economy of Elevate. None of their players over 1,000 except for Rush. That hurts.
It's massive, because it keeps the game close. They were starting to build a bit of an economy, and the last 2 rounds have completely taken that back. Doubling up again at long for Elevate. Storm, XP3, they're actually going to go for this corner boost, put Storm directly up on top of the platform. But Cloud9 haven't committed either way yet. They put smokes out at the bottom of Danger and deep inside middle. That actually forces Elevate back, so they can't get a read, but they haven't committed to it. Now they're going to lurk a little bit and try and take control of that map, I guess, space they've given themselves. I wouldn't exactly call it control, because the entry points are still covered off. Desi's going to flash roke over to peek. No one coming through the main door yet. So it's going to be a crossfire. This would be... Oh, Desi gets spotted. Nothing. Checking every corner. Finds him. The elbow sticking out just a little bit too far. And now they've got a real chance to pinch. This causes a bit of panic as Storm has to rush back over. Rush is still inside the connector. He'll get it to the door before it's smoked off. He might have line of sight toward... But either way, Cloud9 are coming out in an absolute force right now. They'll find Rush. He gets overcommitted on Sean Gares, and that means the trade favors them. XP3, no smoke still. This is crucial. No smokes left. Cloud9 are going to leave this completely exposed. XP3, though, thinks... Oh, no, he pulls back. He was in perfect position. If XP3 stayed there, they were all lined up for him. And now Skadoodle, he'll find Roke. XP3 gets back just in time to catch nothing, but Skadoodle's already crossed over. He'll find Storm. And this leaves us with just a 2 HP XP3, who now has to lurk in. And man, the timing was so unfortunate in his position, because if he stayed put, he would have spotted them coming into the site. Instead, Cloud9 get another round.
Yeah, they're getting it off the back of these picks over towards A as well. I mean, that's something that hindered them in that eco round, that hindered Elevate in that anti-eco round they had just 2 rounds ago. Where Cloud9 almost won, found Roka, and now they find Desi, his gun just, sticking out. I mean, that was a crossfire that looked very, very promising, or even a position to pop flash for Desi, but he gets taken out, and it severely weakens that defense, and you can see how patiently they took that bomb site. That's why XP3 rotated away, because it was so slow, so patient, that he thought that it was possible they were just going back to B, and he felt like he had to cover it. So Cloud9 punishes Elevate there in a very well done strategy.
Good pop flash. That bounces off the crack in the wall, forces them both to look away, and gives them just enough space to walk out with the AKs against the pistols. No contest for Cloud9 as they do find their way in. Counter boost going on at drop. They will put Rush up. If he can make the jump, there it goes. And try and get it on a quick flank, but Cloud9's already got the bomb down, and this is looking promising. Nothing, already spots up Rush coming, manages to do some damage into him, doesn't take him down. Needs to be aware, though, that Roka's also in position. But Skadoodle's going to support. So even if they do get the first shot, he would be able to slide out, and in fact, they're going to get one. There's Rush, only kill they'll find. So good round by Cloud9. Sean Gares is going to hang on to this MP7. I thought he'd grab that rifle that was dropped.
This is going to have to be another save here for Elevate. I'd be very, very surprised if they bought. And they do, actually. They force up. So that is surprising. And this is a situation now where if they lose this round, there's only going to be, this is the 12th round. So the remaining rounds, they're going to be very, very hurt for money in terms of their buy. So this is a very risky purchase here that could have implications on how they play the later stages of this half.
Quick flash into the smoke. Shroud's not forward this time, playing it more passively because his team's already walked into A for free. They can actually split. Roka, Desi haven't spotted them. Now they do. Rush gets in front of them. They might still get caught, and in fact, that's what's going to happen. And Cloud9 were about 6 steps ahead of where they were. They could have pinched the B site in a really interesting fashion. And now Desi, who gets all the way back down, Danger realizes Sean Gares was in a position where he could only retreat one direction. That's back directly toward him. So So Elevate with the two-man advantage, realize they're going to drop inside side B. Storm still waiting up on top, gets the bomb down out of Skadoodle's hands. Shroud manages to find XP3, but Storm slides out, gets in position to get that kill as well, and this is dead close, dead even, 6-6. And now it's going to come down to how well Elevate can play on their T side, because if this stays close, Cloud9 potentially could be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, well, I mean, even on a T-side map, you said, you know, it's a general feeling of 9-6. Elevate, I mean, this was a CT side of this map that they really, really struggled with at Face It, but here it seems like they're putting a good game plan together, and Cloud9 does buy off of this. They have 3 AK-47s, 2 Tech-9s, and they're going to go over towards these A-halls again, where there's a double stack, but a nice pop flash blinds Roka. Desi's all on his own. He gets taken out. Now it's just one player, and he's spotted out. Freakazoid knows exactly where he is. They're not going to let him get away, and Freak is going to win that fight, so they take control of A-halls. This forces massive rotations with 1 minute and 20 left on the clock. I mean, Cloud9 has so many openings in this round. They can just play this patiently and overextend the defense. This is actually forcing Storm to just be aggressive, to push up, and he's going to spot out Shroud. He's going to get that kill. It's brought down back to a 3-on-3.
XP3, I like this angle. Does give him really good line of sight toward Long, where he's standing up on the railing there. Rush is going to support inside the site, but Storm, this puts a ton of pressure on him. He's going to watch drop. They'll play for the retake. On to B once Cloud9 get in position. Storm just hears them now. He actually peeks out to take the fight before they get there. Does a good amount of damage to Freakazoid, but the problem is he's now down to 17 himself, so he has to fall back. And it's going to be all on XP3 to be the first one in. Rush hot on his heels. Nade goes over. Does it catch Freakazoid? No, he's just too far to the left as that bomb gets positioned in behind the smoke. And that second smoke, look at Rush. He can't even get through on the alley position to try and cancel off the two people playing way back toward the entry to B. Skadoodle finding Storm. XP3, excellent shot, though, back into him. Good push through by Rush. He'll take Freakazoid in that smoke, and nothing, trying to do everything. XP3 still alive, looking to get that shot. Nothing drops down due to the assist, and this is a good retake from Elevate. That was smart passive play, because that looked like it was going to be hugely problematic when Freakazoid didn't drop on that first exchange.
Yeah, and it was actually a heads-up play by Rush there, knowing Freakazoid was still in the bomb site. He turns the corner, wrapping around the tree, and he just sprays into the smoke, knowing that Freak still has to be there after planting the bomb, and he picks that up. That's a player that could have easily got lost in the chaos of that retake. So heads-up play by Rush spearheads that retake, and that's going to force a save onto Cloud9. Not a full save. They do have Tech-9s. They have some utility to work with, but Elevate in great position here to have a really good CT half.
Skadoodle going to run directly through that Incinerary, just try and get in position with this Tech-9 a little sooner. Free fires on that flash. Desi taken down to 47 on the second attempt by Skadoodle, but Rush is already rotating over, so they'll lock Cloud9 here at bottom middle. And these Tech-9s, they'll just continue to go to work. Nothing finds
nade.
Desi.
Look at the damage done by that nade.
That caught Freakazoid the most of anyone, down to 16 for him. Nothing takes a little bit of damage. The others actually were already dinked up before that, so regardless, the damage is massive for all 5 right now. They might need someone to come clean up the blood when this round's over, but they're still got the man advantage. And with the Tech-9s, they can be prone to overwhelm, and it's only Rush and XP3 that are directly inside the A side. XP3, though, makes good on the first shot. Round the corner they go. Skadoodle gets up. And now it's going to have to be XP3 to hit a second shot on the cross, because they've got to the site. They may still get this bomb down, and this would make it a decent eco round, and that's exactly going to be the case as Shroud puts it in place. Rush still doing work, though. He'll bring it back, make it a 2-on-1, and Shroud's very low on HP. He'll find that kill as well.
Another very scary anti-eco round for Elevate there, so Cloud9 does a great job of just, once again, almost pulling out a miracle, so good recovery by Elevate. Going into this last round, they do salvage an AWP for XP3 again. But it's going to be a full buy here out of both teams, and Skadoodle's going to have an op back in his hands. That hold, with the damage that was done by that nade initially into that connector, that hold should have been much easier. Roka goofed a little bit on his support of XP3 peeking over, just playing it a little bit timid and not peeking down and not taking some free shots when he had them, and they just get too close with those Tech-9s, and Skadoodle is able to overwhelm them.
Good molly up. Holds Shroud out of place. Smoke follows into it. A little bit soon. There was still a bit of time left on the fire. Shroud's anticipating an counter boost, rather, but that hasn't come. Roka hasn't rotated over quite as quickly. Now he's finally going to do it. So we haven't seen that same, I guess, confidence out of Elevate's CT side to get in position. So Rush is still locked in. They have to hold drop with 2 right now, just on how the passive play is coming out from Roka. This doesn't give them the same support close up, but XP3's here, and this time with the op, that's the difference. He'll be able to hit that wide shot, that wide peak coming out.
Yeah, Storm's got to be very careful. This is a position where Skadoodle could easily spot a shoulder that Storm doesn't expect him to see as the smoke fades. A nice Molotov and Pop Flash actually blinds Skadoodle, and he burns to death. He was so blind, he didn't know he was in the fire. And he falls early. Nicely done by Elevate there. And all 4 members of Cloud9 are stuck behind these Molotovs, and this is their only option, is this B-bomb site.
Storm, though, overcommits to the peak just a little bit. Shroud makes him pay for it. Now the XP3 has to hit the shot. The secondary flash comes in from Roka, but XP3 peaks a little bit too soon, and it hadn't popped just yet, so he actually gets blinded by it as well. That allows Cloud9 around the corner, and look what that causes. Absolute havoc, and we'll split the half. 8-7, Cloud9, 7 rounds T-side.
Yeah, and that round was one they had no business winning. With the clock winding down, standing behind fire, so much damage dealt already, and it all started because of that over-peak by Storm. He gets picked off, he gives him an opening, and XP3 with that AWP, he's in a very great position to be effective, but he was smoked out. They threw a smoke in the chicken hut, so he actually couldn't see where he was at all. He couldn't have any kind of effect peeking out side to side on the chicken hut with that AWP, so nicely executed by Cloud9 there.
Well, we'll see if Elevate can equal the task, because again, the map is definitely even. I think that's been pretty evident in North American play, that rounds are able to be picked up on T-side. Keatstars also showed that off against CLG, but we haven't really seen that trend in North America, so we'll see if Elevate are equal to it. Looks like Rush going to set up. This is a smoke. Should land on the connector on the doorway. And do they pop the short one as well? They do. So that's front. Actually, that goes inside the drop courtyard. Interesting. That covers it off completely. It's easy to push through that, but it still forces them out of position. This is all a bit of a fake, though, because they actually aren't going to come through. They just want to take 2 players down drop, and they're going to pinch. Yep. Exactly the case. Sean Gears, though, hears them coming, and he'll stop Rush. They haven't answered that back yet, so the problem is he's now getting trapped. XP3 getting completely swarmed. But he forces them back to the B side, so they actually give up the rotation. Now it's all on Skadoodle to hold against everybody else who's coming in against him. And he's only got 10 HP to do that. XP3 is going to find 2, so the rotators won't even be there to go for the retake. This is good work from Elevate right now as Skadoodle lurks around, tries to go for the planter, does get damage in, manages to get the first. Shroud gets XP3. Now he can join in on the party. They brought this back to a favorable situation, but they need to get one more because with Roka taking down Skadoodle, this gives them a chance to set up a crossfire, and it's working out perfectly. That's exactly what happens, and there's nowhere for Cloud9 to go.
Oh, XP3 recovers nicely after missing an easy kill on Deshaun, who was out of ammunition, and he still manages to pick up 2 later on in the round, but that was almost a fumbled B split, and they also let Skadoodle stay alive very, very long, but it was great management there at that 2-on-2 to set up that crossfire, that impromptu to win the round. XP3 holds off those rotations so well after muffing that initial kill.
This is very passive setup already for Sean, who goes inside A. He'll wait with the CZ75, so they aren't going to try and get the pistols close, let the scouts take the long shot, and then re-peek out to get that last bit of damage in, even if it's a body shot. It's actually going to be passive on the sites. And Shroud's going to be holding one of the scouts. He's over actually at B right now. Yeah, it's not often we see him with a scoped rifle.
No, it's not. It's not. Skadoodle just jumping up and down over towards A. It is that A stack, but Elevate not putting pressure anywhere so far, being very cautious how they want to take this. Rush is trying to get some info at drop. He's going to execute a smoke to see if he can come down, flash himself. And this is just going to be a walking B take. You do see a little bit of a rotation from Freakazoid who kind of sniffs it out, but Shroud's got a lot of work to do. He's all alone. They're spamming through. That's not a safe place to be. But he does find the headshot on Roka. That's a great opening kill. He needs a little bit more for his team, though. Rush is trying to cut off the rotations, and Shroud gets it through the smoke, so down to a 3-on-3.
That shot was massive. Bomb is going to get planted. Interestingly, he uses XP3, who's crouched in position to put that bomb down to boost up onto the tree. Gives him a little bit of vision into or drop, and now he falls down the backside. Storm's already found nothing, and Elevate looking great in this round as well. Although it was close, you have to say Storm on 1 HP. There's still a massive amount of damage, but crucially, they're going to pick this up.
Yeah, Shroud almost did just enough with that scout to allow them an opportunity to get into that round, but it was Rush, much like nothing did in the first half. Rush just pushing up at those doors to stop those rotates, not letting the support get out of the double doors, holding him in that choke point. So well done by Elevate there.
And of course, with armor, oh, they actually lose Storm post-plant. That's a rifle. That's actually hurts them quite a bit, as the economy is still really young at this point.
I don't think it was. I think it was a Mac 10.
It was a Galil, I thought. I think it was a Galil that was dropped on the
salvaged one. Unless he salvaged one, it might have been.
Well, there's definitely a Galil beside his body, so... But either way, Sean Gare saves the armor, so...
Yeah, but no investment outside. I mean, nothing picked up for Cloud9. They're actually going to be aggressive over towards these A-halls. Desi and Roka got to be careful. They're taking it very aggressively. The bait and switch is real, but Desi clears his corner, takes out Sean. They also trade off Freakazoid. So they all of a sudden have control of these A-halls, and Storm might not even want to put up any kind of a fight over here at B. He's just watching for a flank. Nothing in Rush. Playing ringing around the Rosie a little bit, but the SMG's going to win that eventually.
Rush, though, pops back out, gets Skadoodle, and first Glock headshot on Shroud. That was pretty stylish.
That was. I was surprised. I was waiting for him to just be swarmed and to just fall out of that, but some nice shots. He's actually going to keep... Nope, he upgrades right at the last second.
The thing about that pillar is that it's so wide, it's actually, even though you're getting pinched from either side, you've got so much rotation around it that you can actually basically get yourself out of it by wide peeking. It's not like a tiny little margin of error. It's a pretty long way around that pole. It's not your typical pole dance, Jason.
I gotcha. That's where you're going with it. Alright. Glad you took that one over the finish line.
You're welcome. I seldom finish, but this time I did. Skadoodle gonna start it off, though. Guns out for Cloud9. So now we get to see them go to work on their defenses. Roka's gonna find Skadoodle in response, but Freak finds Desi at long. Roka's in the same spot. Bomb, meanwhile, is over at B.
Yeah, but Rush, oh, look at his position. He's dropped out. Nothing's not expecting this whatsoever, and he gets taken out. Now 2 players at A. This is going to be a little bit of a pinch. There is one player, Roka. He gets brought down to 9 HP, so he's got to fall off. There goes Rush. There goes the connector, the player who's meant to stop any kind of rotation. So all of a sudden, Elevate looking very scary situation.
Roka's so low on HP. He'll pick up the bomb to try and follow in the footsteps of the Counter-Strike veteran, Storm. He spots Shroud jumping, but he fires away. If he had been a little patient, I don't think Shroud would have seen him. Now they know exactly where they're going to be coming out from this B-long position. Smokes off one. That's Freakazoid, but he still has the option of playing it from the opposing side of the tree, and Roka manages to cross over. He has that 9 HP, and Storm does all the work. Takes down Shroud on the second peak on the left, and now they've got position to plant this bomb. All Sean Gares. He has to come over from the long way. A site. We'll go from the drop approach. Gets him a little bit closer on the entry. That smoke actually helps him at this point get in position, but he doesn't catch Storm through it. So this transition successful to get Storm back up on top of the platform. And Sean has to nail the first shot on Roka, but he does. But now he's exactly given up. Storm finds him. I thought if Roka fell back a little bit, if he was a little more aware, he actually could have forced him out, not even got traded there. But either way, it doesn't matter. They pick up the round, and no gun rounds so far going to Cloud9. The first one fails, and Elevator giving themselves a bit of a cushion on the T side. That's crucial.
Yeah, Storm providing his team with some much-needed entry kills there. A huge round from him, absolutely massive, and ends up winning that one-on-one. Very close, though. Sean almost brought it back, but Elevate in the driver's seat at the moment. 12-7. They forced an eco onto Cloud9 as well. So they should be able to get up to 13 unless they get caught off guard. Unless someone like Nothing has a massive play. Do you have to say Storm with 18 and 10, Rush with 20 and 13. Massive impact for their squads. On the other side, it's Nothing with 17 and 14 leading the way. And using these Molotovs to entry, they forced Shroud out of his position once again. They did that last time when he was playing behind the pillar. That's what allowed Storm to get so many entries. And then here's Roka just coming in, spraying some players down.
Yeah, this is perfect from Elevate. This is looking really, really good for them on entry. So their T side definitely looks up to the task. Cloud9 needs to find some better positionings to hold on this B site because they've done nothing so far in these first two gun rounds, rather, excuse me. And Freakazoid wants to desperately hang on to this AK that they've recovered. He's picked up a Molotov as well. It's a reasonable note to make, because it can be used in a few spots defensively on this map. Desi, though, look at this. Lurks in behind, easily found.
Yeah, he was watching the flank basically that whole round, like way, way far back, so he had a good jump on hunting that weapon down. Nicely done by Elevate. They don't get fooled by anything. And they don't get caught off guard, but now we have the AWP in Skadoodle's hands, because they weren't able to do it due to that second round buy. He hasn't been able to pick it up, and on top of that, Sean also picks one up, so going in for a double scope setup here. trying to make a comeback. They're six rounds behind, 7-13, and it's got to start here.
Nothing pops a flash over. That'll slow them a little bit, allow Skadoodle to go for a quick peek, but they're not even in that position at this point. Rush is at the top of drop. Storm's lurking behind to make sure they don't push through, but the rest of them are gathered on the A site as Freakazoid and Sean are going to be the ones to defend against that. Double op, this is going to be cool to watch if they can get this to work. This is where we see Skadoodle go to work. This is actually playing it more aggressively than I thought he might, but this is what we kind of alluded to before the game, where Skadoodle has the ability to absolutely bolster their defense over at B. And there it is. Catching Rush completely off guard. Didn't expect that peek on top of the box to come through at all.
Yeah, not prepared for that whatsoever. Smart play from Skadoodle. Gets away with barely any damage, but two members of Elevate very close up on these A-halls. Sean's got the AWP on it. He unscopes at the wrong moment. It turns into a no-scope, which he misses, but Freakazoid playing up close. Desi's going to take it taken out. He turns the corner. There goes XP3, so a solid defense here from Cloud9.
Freakazoid. He does all the work. Shroud's going to close it out. Storm does get one kill just before that, on to nothing. And finally, Cloud9 have something to work with, but there's still 3 rounds left. That's all that Elevate need. It's still a hole to dig themselves from. They haven't really done a massive amount. They didn't bring the economy back down, but they haven't done enough in the previous rounds to make it break in one win. So there's still going to be guns out right now from Elevate.
Yeah, and they've seen the double up setup. That's crucial, because now they know that they're going to go against an AWP at both bomb sites. So how do they respond to that? Where do they attack that they think is going to be the weakness? And it almost looks like it's going to be a very fast B play. But nope, they turn around right at the end before committing. They are setting up for an execute here, though.
Interesting smoke from nothing. Where that one takes to line up, but it lands perfect. And look how wide they have to go. So Skadoodle narrows down his field of vision. He can just focus in on that gap, and look at the work he can do because of it. They do Molotov him out of the hut, but it doesn't even matter. He's already found 3 kills. Eventually he gets taken down by an A because the fire did do a little bit of damage, but either way, that was perfect.
Yeah, just amazing composure from him in that situation. Such a great opera. It took 2 Molotovs, a grenade, and 3 lives to force Skadoodle out of that chicken hut, and he just wrecked them so incredibly well.
I mean, the double smoke, though, I thought that was really cool because by putting out 2 and making it that wide of a screen, they had to essentially peek in what was a 4-foot window, and Skadoodle just was pre-aimed on that gap to see if they were going to get the entries. And there's no flick required at that point. You're so pre-aimed, it doesn't even matter. A guy like that's never going to miss that shot.
It was just the composure for me while he was burning in the Molotov, still peeking out and grabbing a 3rd one. Impressive stuff. He almost got away. That nade just comes in and ruined him a little bit, but either way, he bolsters it down. So the double op setup giving Cloud9 some life here. 13-9 for Elevate. All positioned over towards V, but they get slowed down by a Molotov, but the smokes are coming out for an execute.
Second op from Sean Gears has been quiet. They haven't really gone to A at all, in fact. They had great success early on. This time they do get down through drop, though. No one really watching it. That smoke will hold them inside of it, but they've got 3 players in this position, so okay, interesting. They'll boost it right back up. They'll take the gun back over toward, well, if they can get the gun back up there. They'll take the gun back over inside the halls. So we haven't seen too many teams do this, actually. You go down there, make them think it's going to be B, and then rotate back to A. It's a really long rotation point, though, so it still is possible for them to get a read on this, and nothing's going to take down Desi. He'll realize no one else is there. So we'll see if Cloud9 read this correctly, and in fact, Freakazoid's already coming back over. Sean hasn't really ever left his perch.
Yeah, and this is brutal, because from where they are, I mean, they still have the clock's running down. They're going to have to go, and there goes the op peek from Sean. He picks up Rush. Now he's made the call. Second support player's rotating over. XP3 makes it to the fence, but that op just doing some work, so nothing coming from Elevate. They did pick up that rifle, can't make anything happen out of it, and now the bank is rolling for Cloud9. The double ops are being very, very effective, and this is what I talked about in pregame. They don't have an opper that can really battle Skadoodle or even Sean. They don't have a great T-side opper to kind of pick them off or open up a bomb site, so Elevate's got to figure something out, but these ops from Cloud9 are just doing work.
Well, it's definitely brought them back into it. Gave up the first 5 rounds of the half, but immediately canceled counterback, with 3. So we're both into double digits. Didn't realize the score counter reset this game at half, so that's interesting. Either way, it's going to be a lot more passive from Elevate this time. Skadoodle back toward the hen house. He's only gone for that aggressive peek once. It worked, but the problem is that if they stand and don't cover it off, or at least check the angle, he could catch them with it again. Therefore, it actually plays into their mind. They have to be a little more passive on their approach. But look how much information Shroud gives up, how much room he gives, and he gets caught trying to flash it off. So Rush is going to open up drop. This forces nothing to support that position, and Skadoodle has to hit the shots at longer they come in. Nothing successful. Skadoodle, 1 of 1 so far. Nothing eventually does drop down to XP3, who manages to sneak by. And Skadoodle gets walled down. Desi takes him with the AK. This does bring it back a little bit in Elevate's favor, but Freakazoid's already rotated over quite quickly, and XP3 is going to get stuck inside the inside drop, excuse me. And that allows Sean to lurk on top of him. Desi gets the bomb down, so at least they'll get the money from that, but he's got to do this. 1 on 2, finds the first shoot. Freakazoid down to 14 HP, but still gets the kill. Desi almost pulls it back.
Yeah. Massive. I'm amazed that Elevate brought them back into that round. Very, very well done. XP3 holding off the drop, cutting off the rotations, allows them to at least get the bomb plant and 4 kills as well. So Freakazoid does pick up that AWP, but they do whittle down the economy that was starting to get so intimidating. But Sean invests right back into another sniper rifle. So the double op setup still going to be brought out here by Cloud9 with a stellar retake there on that B bomb site.
And Shroud get caught at drop. I mean, that's the second round in a row they've got down drop. First one was an eco and they went back on it, but nothing definitely made up for it. They still have to be a little more cautious of that position.
Yeah, nothing pulled them back into that round for sure.
Exactly, and you can't rely on a guy to individually be a hero every single round. Even if he can do it, it's not something you want to have to depend on. And a huge split from Elevate here. Bomb's committed to the B tunnels, but Roka, Desi both going to lurk on A. It's less common that you pull a rotator off B though right now.
It's gonna take Desi and Roka actually getting a kill here. They can't expect this pressure to pull one off, although it does make Shroud lean a little bit that way while he's watching drop. He's actually giving up drop. He's just watching for him to come into the connector, so there's actually a lot of room there. It puts a lot of work on Nothing's shoulders, especially now that Skadoodle has fallen. A Molotov is gonna hold him back, but a nice opening pick by XP3. And there goes Nothing. Shroud anchoring things down with a response, but there is going to be a lurk at this A bomb site. That's going to be dangerous. Freakazoid and Roka, I mean, this is a weird timing for Freakazoid. He's going to be very upset when Roka just turns the corner and finds him to the side. There it is, a one-tap. A bomb site's open. Sean's got an AWP behind the statue, but he misses the initial shot.
So Sean spots one, but they still rotate on a solo Roka. Roka finds Shroud. Sean's going to go back slowly, but he actually gave up the position on that. It almost could have been worth it where he still has one player lurking to just go for a split, get the information. But either way, they win the duels. Bomb goes down after the round, so extra money. I'm not sure who that was that put it in place, but Elevate's now 2 rounds away. And that gets them that one elusive round. So 4 in a row for Cloud9 before they answer. Cloud9 still has good money, though.
That was
aside
great.
From Freakazoid.
That was great play by Roka that round, because that opening pick of XP3 on a Skadoodle, the support player, the rotator from A, Sean, went over towards B, so it was all Freakazoid left alone, and Roka immediately got an aggressive lurking stance there, was able to find, a little seam in the defense where Freakazoid just wasn't watching the timing, just a little bit unfortunate. And that's what pulls the rotations between both bomb sites. They couldn't get a good read on where they needed to defend, and they got punished for it.
Really tight setup right now from Cloud9 on B. All in by the statue. Shroud, secondary room at drop. This might allow Rush down. We'll see if Shroud gets caught again. He lurks out. He's actually going to get spotted up. Only takes 7 damage because he peeks correctly with the shoulder. But here it goes. Rush down. He's not in position to catch him, so he goes out the backside windowsill. But he comes around the corner, and Shroud better. That was well thought. That was outplayed by Shroud. Knew that he gave up the position. The only way he was going to get back through that smoke safely was the other side of it. And he outthought Roka entirely. Skadoodle's boosted up. Haven't seen an op play in that position before, and that works perfectly on XP3 because I don't think he was expecting it either. And Desi on the lurk. Cloud9 are making this work on this, I guess you could call it a forced buy, this half buy with 1 SMG and the pistol for Freakazoid. And Roka, 1 on 5. No damage even dealt to Cloud9. Finally, Skadoodle takes a little bit of it, but nothing's going to close him off just like that.
Yeah, that was just if Elevate dedicates one more player with Rush. If they're able to trade some of those kills, every single kill for Cloud9 was a one-on-one. You know, there was no response from Elevate whatsoever. So right now they've kind of switched the style from these executes over towards the B bomb site with smokes, and they've turned it into just, you know, players trying to find their picks, going to where they like, where they feel comfortable with, and it didn't work out for them there. That's a dangerous, you know, that's a dangerous strategy to run against an operator like Skadoodle. He's going to be able to pick them off with ease.
Nothing. Nade, Desi down. Rush gets one kill in return, but Nothing now finds a double. Skadoodle can with his own, and he actually one-ups Nothing. He'll get the hat trick as Nothing couldn't do it. He fell down just before that, but now it's one round the difference. It may have taken a while based on the start of this half. Elevate had an awesome start, 5 in a row, but now Cloud9 are bringing this back 14-13. Every single game, aside from that one against CLG that Elevate has played, has gone the distance.
Yeah, if you thought that Elevate was ever going to just outright win a match, I mean, it just rarely happens. All their matches are generally are decided by, you know, 2 or 3 rounds. So Elevate not able to close this one out. They've given Cloud9 a second lease on life, and they're taking advantage of it here. Nothing really stepping up in the second half. 26-19. The weakness for this Cloud9 defense, I'd say, Elevate could put some pressure on the drop, and Shroud's had a tough time.
Nothing, though, playing really forward on the smoke. He hasn't been in that position before, and Elevate weren't expecting it. He'll find 3 before Shroud will close out on the final 2. Storm getting the only kill in response. Of course, that was Nothing. He overstayed his welcome, but he'd done more than his job. And there's the tie. And the very, very small income, or rather, retained income from Elevate.
That seemed like such a desperate strategy to just run through that smoke at B, and Nothing played it perfectly. He was actually looking away from the flashbangs, from any kind of a pop flash, and just turns around, easily picks off 3 heads before the response comes in. So Elevate, they're almost looking like they're running out of ideas on this terrace side.
That's the problem, is creativity. Just go back to a default if they can. They were getting entries. The first 5 rounds, they got every entry they looked for. They haven't done that since.
Well, that was because Cloud9 didn't have an AWP, but now that they busted it out, Elevate's just confused.
Well, we're stuck on a smoke, but it doesn't matter because there's lots of them out. Right now, they've covered off the entire site, so a good wall of smokes. This is different. This is a slightly different change of pace right now. Backside of Statue and the front both covered off. That allows for a really quick and easy bomb plant. Rush is going to be the one in position. Gets caught a little bit though by Shroud in the transition from the right side over toward the back of the Statue to make sure he couldn't allow Skadoodle to go forward, and as a result they take advantage of it. And now Storm has to land this shot on Shroud. He doesn't. It comes back down to a 2-on-2. His XP3, he'll bring it back the other way entirely, and that allows Roka to slip out undetected. And Elevate will be the first to get to match point. It's 15 for them. Cloud9 do have decent money. They'll be able to force up in this round easily into a full buy. But Elevate might have just bailed themselves out. They were the ones in a lot worse off position money-wise.
Yeah, that wall of smokes works so well. Skadoodle on the other side of it, not pushed out to where it normally was over at the chicken coop. He was actually at the Statue, and he just got forced away. But regardless, it still comes down to a 3-on-3 retake, and the shots from XP3 with that Galil, so wonderful. Opens things up for Roka, like you said, gives him a little bit of room to work with, and they what a great retake to win there for Elevator, a retake defense. So 15-14 now. They've got themselves up to that 15th round.
Watch
so it's overtime or win.
Freakazoid, good play by Roka to wait passively. Gets a little bit too far out at long A, trying to get a read on the opposition, and as a result goes down. In fact, only did a slight bit of damage to Roka, so that's definitely a huge win for Elevate. So 1 man up, 1 round to go in regulation. John Gears wants to take over duties back at that long position, puts a lot of pressure on him with his op, and as a result of that single pick, look with the bomb, Storm's already bringing it back over to join the A site.
Yeah, and this is a situation that Elevate's thrived in this half. When they do get that opening pick, they're able to confuse Cloud9, keep them away from where Elevate's actually going.
Nice shot by Sean, does do the damage. Unfortunately, that also brings the situation even. He peeks out their lineup. They almost get a double right there, but Sean collects Storm. He's the further player back. Meanwhile, Nothing finds the one lurking Rush who comes down drop. This puts a lot of pressure on the 2 remaining Elevate players, and Sean Gears, he'll lag up on XP3, pops back out, and he'll do the rest of the damage with the pistol, and we're going to overtime. 15-15 in the first of the 2 maps in this doubleheader.
In the first round of OT.
And rip me, I'm still not there.
It's okay. Roka does find Sean Gears. There goes one of the AWPs, and that's the danger as well. Shroud's still playing drop all on his own, but expensive setup with a double op. at the beginning of overtime. That's going to have a huge economical impact. Sean Gares, after he buys, all the way already down to 27.50, so that's something that's going to impact. And look at Freakazoid once again being aggressive over towards long A, pushing up. Desi's waiting for it. Desi is wise to it, but can't win the battle. He falls down, and this is going to force an execute out of drop. They catch nothing with a nade in his hands. He falls quickly with no response. Skadoodle at the chicken coop is about to get Molotov'd out. He's forced out of position. They know he's there, and they're just watching it, but he's not peeking. He's not giving him anything. Down to 30 HP. Rush pushes up on him, takes him out. A fantastic first round here from Elevate. Up 4-2, and this might just have to be a save for Shroud and Freakazoid.
A heavy investment. And if they lose 2 in a row, they potentially have to save on the third. It also goes to show as Freakazoid actually makes a case for this fine Storm, but this bomb's been taken for a while, and yeah, look, Shroud's already gone. So Freak's just going to probably back himself out if he can, because he's committed to this quite deep, and he's got a player lurking up beside him, and Roka, he's going to find him, so it's a weird call for him to stick around that long when Shroud's that far away, but that position right there, that situation right there from Skadoodle, once his 2 players go down that support him, that puts a lot of... An op in a high-pressure situation, a high-intense spot like that basically has to cover off a choke point, needs a second player there just to distract, even just to hold second players in position, not to be able to lurk forward onto him. You see it all the time from Zipnix, the way he plays with Cajun B. If Cajun is stuck on his own, he seldom gets the shots, and Skadoodle could do nothing. He was stuck inside. He couldn't even peek out the left side, the safe side of that position.
Yeah, well, the Molotov was there, so he only had one side to peek, and he was pretty much just sitting and waiting to be pushed on, hoping to hit a miracle shot, but gotta say, nice round from Elevate, and now you look at what that double up buy did. Skadoodle did pick one up this round, but so many players, everyone but Shroud is below $100 or below on their economy, so this is
and no
crucial.
head armor for Sean and Freak.
Yeah,
it is against AKs, it doesn't matter, but still, it's an investment. Shroud's also in that position, but nothing's going to go for that early peek again this time. Only works for one, but Skadoodle, he'll pick up the other. Shroud shutting down drop, that's massive. He has to do that, and this is a must-win round for Cloud9, money-wise.
Yeah, it really is. And Skadoodle's going to get pushed back. He's getting naded at that statue. They're boosting up onto the tree, though. Skadoodle gets one more. Like a boss, but he does eventually fall, but the rotations are there, the support is there from Cloud9. They tie it up at 16-16, and that's crucial. That's going to give him some money to work with in this round.
A little bit crucially, though, do pick up that one T-side round, which so often, I don't think it should be the case on Cobblestone, but so often on maps in overtime, based on the fact that you don't have a pistol start and economy start, is the difference. We'll see if that comes to be true or not.
I mean, because of the economic woes, Skadoodle has an 8 AVP, but it's a glass cannon here in this third round, so...
He's going to go back to the safe spot as well, so he's not even going to try and catch them off. This is really conservative play. Nothing's going to be the one that gets up close. In fact, now they change it. Skadoodle does go for this boost. So maybe they thought differently. Maybe they do want to throw the curveball at B, but Elevate... They still haven't fully committed. The bomb's with Storm. It's over at B, or rather at the B tunnels, the backside of the connector where Roka's lurking at mid, so... There's a chance here for Elevate if they can find that pick from Roka, similar to what they did on round 29. Round 30, rather. They could lurk back in that direction. Shroud finds Rush, though, at drop, so he's holding well. He's given it up a few times, but this time he plays passive and Rush walks directly into him.
Yeah, and that's basically just been a one-on-one battle for Rush and Shroud for most of this half, aside from an execution down the drop, and Shroud's winning it. Look at this position from Sean Gares as well, staring straight down with an M4A1. XB3 doesn't even look up. Oh, he finally does. Sean, I don't know what he was doing. He missed his shot, but he does win it anyways because a Freakazoid bails him out.
It's the first time I've seen that boost in a very long time. The last time I saw it was NIP with Exist throwing it up, but they do manage to get the trade back in their favor on Cloud9's side, so they have the one-man advantage. Shroud trying to peek out in the corner, spots Roka going over, and he'll manage to, with Freakazoid, take them both down, and he pops out, slides, and Desi drops. They get the one-round advantage heading into the second half of overtime, and potentially can push forward onto this first match point.
Smart defense there from Cloud9. They were positioned so aggressively over towards those A-hulls initially, and once they get pushed back, once Elevate makes a little bit of progress and gains map control, the Cloud9 players just willingly fall back into the site and set up some good crossfires and just eliminate that attack. So they win 2 on their CT side. It was looking grim with the economy the way it was after that first round, but Elevate can't get anything going past that. So it's back onto the CT side for them, and you got to say they had a very, very good CT side, a completely different style than Cloud9's. They didn't employ the double op whatsoever.
No, not at all. And it's actually, this map's one of the maps that teams are running the double up on most commonly, in fact.
Well, you could see the damage it does by Cloud9 CT side. That spearheaded their comeback.
Cloud9 super passive at mid this time. In fact, 4 players way back in the courtyard, hanging out and admiring the view of the castle. No one really pushed forward from Elevate, though, to spot that. Desi was thinking about it, but he's fallen back. Roka's going to hide in the corner.
Well, they did it so much in regulation. They played very, very aggressive at these A-hulls, and they often lost the battles. They got the information so early on that the rotations came in to really make up for it.
This is a bit peculiar, though, because Desi's also looking at long. The way Roka's playing, he can only spot the top of the half wall when they've already come up the stairs at mid. So they'll give up a lot of map space before they even call for the rotations, and there's no one really in that quick spot, so Rush will actually get there after they potentially crossed over to the site. So that means they're going to be in a retake position if these two A players don't hold.
Yeah, especially now that the smoke is fading. That's going to force Desi back into the bomb site. He does have a Molotov to work with, but this hit is going to come into A at any moment, and Rush is going to have to be very quick and very mobile.
Pop flash goes out. That's dodged. But here they come. They're already there. XP3, he's smoked off. He can't even get that cross shot. So Sean Yair's winning this first battle. Helps a lot for Cloud9. Freak gets the second. And now they can't come over. XP3 realizes this, changes his angle, and just in time. Catches Freakazoid, puts the bomb down, and Cloud9 have to recover that in a 2-on-2. So position advantage right now for Elevate, because they'll have time to get there. But not if Skadoodle can do that. He'll take down XP3. Storm has to come through, crawling through the vent. Does that smoke and nade go out? Molotov tries to force them out of position. Storm does find the first. Shroud over top. He finds Storm, and now it's match point right now for Cloud9.
Yeah,
they'll have the first one in overtime.
I mean, you called it exactly right. The spot from Elevate that time, I mean, it's so interesting to see them play that passively on A when during all through regulation they were more aggressive, but they didn't get the information that the hit was really coming in until they were already up the ramp, already storming past the APC, so the rotations weren't able to get there in time. They still almost pulled it out, but, you know, a couple more seconds for Elevate to get over there before the hit actually comes in, and that could have been a completely different situation. So very, very passive setup from Elevate. They get punished for it.
Elevate this time compensate for that. Roka gets more aggressive in danger, but Cloud9 smoked that off. Really cool smoke as well. That's more forward than most teams. Most teams smoke the main door at mid, but this time by smoking it deeper, they can still pass into mid if they wanted. The difference is that XP3 is going to be spotting it, but there's not a direct line of sight there anymore. You actually have to slide down in mid a little bit because of the position of these doors and the smaller connection points. So another little map change that allows the Ts just to be able to lurk forward a little further without potentially coming in harm's way.
Yeah, this looks like basically the same setup, the same strategy that Cloud9 just ran. This time, Elevate, look at how aggressive XP3 and Roka are being endangered. Two of them, both of them on this stairwell.
XP3 does get the first crucial kill. He'll line up the second as well. Nothing drops, but they know there has to be a second, or at least they're going to check for it, whether or not they have the information, and Sean guesses correctly. He'll take down Roka. They were in a good position to go for that corner boost, but we never saw Elevate use that. Either way, Nate goes out. That does a little bit of damage to Rush. He'll go the rest of the way down to Skadoodle's Tech 9. Storm trading it back. Storm bringing it back even further as Shroud gets Desi before that, but comes down to a one-on-one, and with Skadoodle only on 4 HP, Elevate desperately need this round, where it's all over. And Skadoodle, with an op 4 HP, can be enough if he finds the right shot, if he finds the right angle, so Storm has to play this perfect. And he's so passive about it, he allows Skadoodle to walk over, but he finds him, almost misses on that first shot. That's too much room for Skadoodle to give. But Storm makes up for it. He'll pick up the op as well, and we will go at least one round further.
Yeah, clutch play by Storm. You said it, just playing so passively, waiting, knowing Skadoodle was going to have to peek for some information at some point. He takes it out. And that time you could see, you know, they pushed up in halls and they went for a 2-for-2 trade, but they had the information of the A hit before it came in, so the rotations were able to come in. Storm's able to do some work. Skadoodle almost pulls off a couple nice shots to win it. Now we see an op onto Elevate's hands on the CT side. It's double overtime or bust here for Elevate. Skadoodle's got his IWP. We'll have to see how aggressively they decide to play this A bomb set. It looks like XP3 with this op is actually going to push up. He's pushing up towards these double doors. He gets pop flashed, and that's just going to push him right back. So his planned aggression doesn't go his way. And Shroud eats a grenade down to 50 HP very early on.
Really slow going now. Cloud9 and a little bit too slow going as he creeps out. XP3 easily able to hold that spot. Smoking good position on B, but again, Cloud9 have really been stressing this A site in this half. Potentially think they had a weakness based on that passive play, and then when they caught them out, aggressive either way.
Yeah, it's also, oh, the trades are going in their way, even with the aggressive setups, and here they are, come up, they ramp, Skadoodle picks one off, trades Roku away, and look at the trades coming in. It is still a 2-on-3, XP3 solo, though.
And Skadoodle had that smoke cocked when he got caught off, so it actually deploys down in mid. Not that it makes much of a difference, but it actually would have been perfect for them to smoke that connection point. Shroud makes up for it, though. He'll find Desi. It still is a 2-on-2. Make it not. A Shroud's nade takes down XP3. There's 1 HP for Shroud. He just has to bait the player out in Storm, but he does more than that. He gets the kill with that last life point, and that's going to make it 16, what am I saying? GG either way. 19 rounds for Cloud9 in overtime.